Today I'm fixing up one of our family favorites. This is a real simple dish, but it's packed full of flavor. This side dish is baconized Brussels sprouts. With our kids growing up, trying to get them to eat vegetables was a real challenge, and so we had a family contest on what vegetables to eat. Brussels sprouts, amazingly, was one of the winners. And so the next mission was to find out a way that everybody would really enjoy them. This real simple recipe is nothing but fresh Brussels sprouts, bacon, and some salt and pepper. And we'll see how this is all done as we go on. But the gist of it is, we pre-cook the bacon, we trim up the Brussels sprouts, toss them into the bacon and bacon grease that's in the pan, season it, and put the lid on for some Dutch oven cooking magic. So we'll see how that works as this recipe progresses. Our first step in our Brussels sprout recipe is to chop the bacon up into pieces, put it in the Dutch oven, and go over some coals for some pre-cooking. And I found that the simplest way is to cut the package open, peel it back on itself, and just start giving it some slices. We're simply going to slice, actually more of a chopping almost, and then we're going to load those into the Dutch oven to get them started. While that's going, we'll take the Brussels sprouts and trim off any of the ends that look like they're a little bit aged, and if they're different sizes, and there probably are, it appears we've got some really large ones in here, probably slice those so that they'll all be more uniform for cooking in just a little bit. Our goal with the bacon is not pretty slices, but chopped up pieces that will enhance and support the flavor of the bacon, but not to simply be slices of bacon that are going to be eaten on their own. So we're ready to go to the fire with this. We'll get it sizzling and go on to our Brussels sprout prep here in just a second. So as I dump the Brussels sprouts out, I see that we've got some significantly different sizes of sprouts, and they're not going to cook evenly like that. So what I'm going to do is trim off this bottom part that's not quite as appealing. As you see, I've already done over here some. Then I'm going to take this big boy and cut that a bit so that we have, again, a little bit more uniform size for uniform cooking. So we've dumped our coals, we've taken our pot of bacon, set it on the coals. Nothing like sizzling bacon. We'll come back to that after the bacon is a little bit closer to being crisp, when we'll add the Brussels sprouts. I've gone through the Brussels sprouts. I've trimmed off the woody ends on some of them, left it on others because it really doesn't affect the flavor unless it's just extremely dense. And I've taken the really large ones, sliced them in half to try to equalize our cooking time a little bit. Pretty soon they're going to be in a bacon bath. It's time to take a look and see how this bacon is doing. See if it's time to add those Brussels sprouts to it.
We decided to take a break. Good idea.
Oh yeah, we're certainly getting there. I like to give it a little bit more crispened and like the render a little bit more fat before we add the Brussels sprouts, but it won't take long now. We're going to call this bacon ready for Brussels sprouts. So we're going to see how gracefully, or less than, we can take a floppy cutting board and carefully take it to our pot and give it a quick slide. After a good stir, we're seasoning with some salt and pepper. The main plan here is to get everything coated with a little bit of bacon grease, a little bit of salt and pepper. Then it's time to go back with the lid. We are probably 25 to 30 minutes into this, and so the fire is pretty good, so we're cooking at a pretty good clip. And see how we're doing. So we don't have a whole lot longer to go. Right now the flavors are in. It's purely just a matter of letting it cook to the point of melt in your mouth candiness. Today is kind of a clean out the pantry and cupboard and supplies day. And so I have actually used some charcoal today that was not brand new, but that had been started previously, and then I'd smothered it out with the hog feed pan, inverted one to the other to oxygen deprive it. But anyway, I heated it back up today, and so I don't have quite the pretty ring of coals around the top and the bottom. But in effect what we have is one ring of coals around the perimeter of the base and a ring of coals around the top. I'll scoot them around a little bit to make it look prettier. But that's going to give us a heat of somewhere around 325 to 350 degrees most days. Now with this feed pan causing a little bit of a windscreen, it's actually going to get warmer down there. So it wouldn't surprise me if we weren't somewhere in that 375 range. So we're going to give these Brussels sprouts about 20 minutes. Probably give them a stir, and then another 20 minutes, and they should be ready to go. Well, we're off the fire, and now the only thing left to do is to get to the eating. Too bad there's no such thing as smell-o-vision. Enjoy!